Young ladies and gentlemen, hello again. Hello to each and every one of you. Once again, you are welcome here on the platform of Awakening of Consciousness. Well, it's spoiled, isn't it? It's spoiled between Russia and Great Britain. It's completely spoiled. Vladimir Putin's Russia has just added 21 British parliamentarians to its list of individuals banned from entering Russia. 21 British parliamentarians. So, they are added to Russia's blacklist. For the moment, these British parliamentarians are banned from entering Russian territory. We are talking about diplomats. We are talking about parliamentarians. Not diplomats, but parliamentarians who are covered by parliamentary immunity. And so, within the framework of international diplomacy, they must be accorded a certain level of respect. But Russia disregards all that and places them on the list of individuals banned from entering Russia. What is the underlying reason? Why is Russia listing these 21 British parliamentarians? When I speak of the British, I mean the United Kingdom. I mean London. There you have it. Beautiful. London. You know, it's London and Paris that have boldly stood up recently to act as the big sisters of Ukraine. I was going to say, to behave like the big sisters of Ukraine and push Ukraine to go against Russia. Even if all this were not enough, Paris and London are preparing for direct confrontation with Russia. This negotiation in London, this meeting in London, which was a resounding failure, this meeting in London, its failure was caused and encouraged by London itself and Paris. It is not by chance that the meeting was held in London. It was so that Zelensky would continue to remain under influence. So, concretely, what does Russia reproach them for? In the context of this video conference, ladies and gentlemen, this is what we are going to talk about. And we are also going to talk about this radical decision that America has just made. Being very upset, America has made a decision against Europe. So, before continuing, I humbly ask you to share the video conference. It needs to be shared as much as possible. Share it in all possible groups. Make sure to put a lot of likes. And for all those who are not yet subscribed, please click to subscribe. So, let's dive into the depths. It is a statement from the Russian Ministry of Foreign Affairs that provided the information. So it is official. It is the Russian diplomacy that is handling it, informing that 21 British parliamentarians have been added to the list of people banned from entering Russia. So, why is Russia doing this? According to the statement, it is in reaction to London's confrontational policy that aims to demonize Russia. So Russia says that London is pursuing a confrontational policy with Russia. And this confrontational policy with Russia that London is implementing, what justifies it? What justifies it? It is justified by the fact that London is working to demonize Russia. But how is London, Great Britain, demonizing Russia? It's in relation to what Prime Minister K.K. Starmer says to Zelensky, and everything he says to Zelensky, Zelensky follows to the letter. That's why we have a very agitated Russia in front of us. So, then, Russia continues. It has given the reason. London is in the process. London is working on making anti-Russian statements to reduce Moscow's influence on the international stage. So, London is accused of making statements that are not in favor of the Russians, anti-Russian statements that aim to reduce Russia's influence on the international stage. So that means London is really doing a dirty job. If London's work is such that it now affects Russia to the point where the ministry issues a statement adding 21 British parliamentarians to the list of people banned from entering Russia, it means the situation has reached its diplomatic climax. Its intolerable, unforgivable, and ruthless threshold. Moscow continues, stating that the reason for the ban is because beyond the confrontational policy that Great Britain is implementing it. Great Britain is obviously engaged in making statements, as we have discussed, but this statement always injects weapons. No, Great Britain always injects weapons into the neo-Nazi regime in Kiev. That's the ministry speaking. The fact that Great Britain injects weapons, gives weapons to the Kiev regime. So this hurts Russia very, very much. So please share the video conference with me. Share it. Thus, Russia concludes by saying that it has been decided to place several members of the British Parliament on the list of people banned from entering the country. Here's what is said. So things are not going well at all between Russia and Great Britain. Meanwhile, we see that America is tired of the political scheming of Great Britain and Paris. That's why the vice, I believe, no, it's the US Secretary of Defense. So the Minister of Defense, Peter Egest, who makes the announcement, saying this. He says that the United States can no longer be the sole guarantor. The United States can no longer be the sole guarantor of European security. Yes, the United States can no longer be the sole guarantor of European security. Here is the announcement that the US Secretary of Defense, Peter Egest, had to make. He spoke. He made this statement while speaking at the US Army War College in Carlisle, Pennsylvania. So, it's very clear in the thinking, in the mind of the Trump administration. So, what is being said? The era when the United States, as he declared, he says, the era when the United States was the sole guarantor of European security is over. This should have happened a long time ago. Europe must step up its military efforts and take the initiative. So it's clear Europe is being left on its own. It's the Secretary of Defense speaking like this. So, ladies and gentlemen, that was the headline of international news. Thank you for sharing it as widely as possible. I will be back shortly with more news by the grace of Almighty God. This was the voice of your one and only samurai.